Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Every week, I try to bring you insights, strategies, and encouragement to help you grow your VA business with confidence, clarity, and consistency. Today, I want to tell you about how I got my first client. Today's quote is from Chris Grosser. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. When you put too many obstacles in your own way, you cannot see the simple path to where you want to go. Let's go. I'm your host, Tracy Daviero, the Confidence Coach for Virtual Assistants. And today I want to talk to you about something that can feel like the hardest hurdle in the whole business, getting your first client. If you've been trying for a while and it just doesn't feel like it's happening, I totally get it. It can feel very discouraging. You probably start second guessing everything, your services, your prices, even whether you should be doing this at all. But here's what you need to know. Landing that first client is rarely about changing what you offer. It is only about changing how you connect. So let's talk about how I got my first client and what I learned that can help you get yours too. If you're still looking for that first client, or maybe your first great client, you are not alone. This is one of the most common struggles I hear from new virtual assistants. There's so much anxiety around getting clients, especially that first one, that it is often easy just to freeze up completely. We get caught in overthinking mode. We start tweaking our services, adjusting our rates, maybe applying to every RFP we see, and of course, hearing nothing back. Or worse, we finally get a discovery call, but the client really isn't a good fit. The work isn't enjoyable, the client's expectations are not clear, and we end up just saying yes because we're desperate to earn some money. Does this sound familiar? VAs like you who are struggling to get clients, to get the good clients, or as I always say, the great clients, are usually missing one piece. They're not having enough conversations. Conversations create clients. Actually talking to people is what is going to get you clients. It is that simple. It's how I got my first client, and then the one after that, and the one after that. In fact, it's how I've gotten pretty much every client I've ever worked with. At least it's how I've gotten my great clients. So let me tell you how that started. When I was 7 months pregnant, I knew I was leaving my job. I lived outside the city, and once I factored in gas, daycare, and everything else, a shared vehicle with my husband and whatnot, my entire paycheck would have disappeared if I went back to work after the baby arrived. So I did decide that I wasn't going back after maternity leave, even though I loved my job. But here's where things got interesting. My boss asked me, "When can you start working again?" He wasn't ready to let me go completely. And I was like, not anytime soon, but, probably after this. I handled important financial work for his company, and he didn't want to take that back on himself. He knew I could do it well and fast because I had already been doing it for him. He had taught me to do it originally, and nobody else in the company knew how. So it became my specialty. He knew it, and so did I, just the two of us. I was doing menu costing and monitoring controllable expenses at the restaurant chain. And it was important work. And like I said, he did it before me, but as CFO now, he didn't want to be doing it again himself. I did a lot of other things in my job too, but I proposed that I continue doing just that piece of my job from home after the baby was born. Of course, he agreed. And just like that, I had my first client. There was no fancy pitch, no website, no business cards, nothing. Just a conversation about what he needed and what I needed. That's it. That conversation led me to my first paying client, and without me realizing it at the time, the beginning of my VA career. I actually didn't even know how to work remotely. He was the one who told me how to do it. He said we would email regularly, we would meet by phone at the time, or in person if necessary. And all I had to do was do the work and invoice him monthly for how much time I spent. Simple. That's exactly the way you are still working with your clients. May I say 27 years later. I know it's 27 years later because my son is 27 and I only have the one. So fast forward a few years later when I realized that I was actually a virtual assistant. I joined CAVA, the Canadian Association for VAs, and I decided to go after new clients intentionally this time. I responded to an RFP from an editor in New York City. We had a great conversation, and she became my next first client. And we worked together for many, many years, actually, all the way until I stopped doing most of the actual VA work I was doing in 2018. She didn't just hire me, she also referred me to countless other clients over the years, and she became a really good colleague. Once again, the connection began with a simple conversation. When I took my virtual event certification through VA Classroom, which is now Freelance U, I decided to start offering telesummit support. For you youngins, a telesummit is just an online conference, but I have to tell the story in the era in which it occurred, don't I? So I mentioned it to my network and I talked about what I could do. Pretty quickly, someone said, hey, I could use help with that. That became my first telesummit client. That one event led to another, and before I knew it, people were calling me the telesummit girl. Each of those firsts started the same way. A conversation about what someone needed and how I could help. You're not just looking for your very first client. You're going to have so many firsts in your business. Your first client overall, your first retainer client, your first high-paying client, your first dream client. Every time you make a change, whether you refine your services or raise your rates or specialize, you are going to be looking for a new first. And the way you find your new first is always going to be the same, by talking to people. When you talk to potential clients, you learn what they actually need. You start to hear their pain points and their priorities. Sometimes you'll realize that you're not the right fit. And you know what? That is totally okay. It's still a very valuable conversation because you've practiced your communication skills and learned more about your audience. And you're not just saying yes because you're saying yes. You're saying yes to the people who will become your great clients. Other times, maybe the timing or the service, something like that, might not line up. But a few months later, that person might get to where they need to go and they might reach back out because they remember you. You are memorable. Conversations are where opportunities are born. You'll never know what clients need until you ask them, until you talk to them. And you'll never get better at those conversations until you start having them. Doesn't this sound so simple, you guys? It really, really is. The numbers are on your side. Not every person you talk to is going to hire you. In fact, probably most of them will not. But that is not the point. It doesn't matter because every no gets you closer to a yes. And of course, the better you qualify your people as you do things, the fewer no's you'll hear. But think of it this way. Right now, if 1 out of every 10 conversations leads to a client, that's what we call a 10% closing rate, then you just need to have 10 conversations to get your next client, don't you? It's not personal, it's just numbers. Maybe that's a writer downer. If 1 out of every 10 conversations leads to a client, go and have 10 conversations. And the more conversations you have, the better you get at explaining what you do and how you can help. And like I say, the better you qualify the people that you're having the conversations with to begin with. Your confidence grows with every single interaction, with every single conversation. So I want to challenge you to take action on this right away because I just told you, you can go and find 1 client if you have 10 conversations with the right people. So here's your action. Make a list of people that you can reach out to. Old coworkers, clients, colleagues, people you've done volunteer work with, whatever it is, even friends who run businesses. Reach out to them and start a few conversations. Don't pitch, don't sell, don't try to sell them anything. Just talk. Ask what's going on in their business and see where you might be able to help. or at least have that conversation of, I could help you with that. It doesn't matter if they're looking for help. Just understand that you're having this conversation. And make this a daily habit to build and nurture relationships. 15 minutes a day is all it takes. Building relationships through conversation is one of the most valuable business skills you will ever learn, and I do really hope you try to learn it. It's one that not many VAs are actually using to their advantage. It will work for you if you do the work. The biggest shift you can make right now is to stop waiting for clients to come to you and start initiating those conversations. Start talking to people. That's how I got my first client. That's how I got every client after that. And that's how you will get your clients too. I promise you it works. It's not about the perfect services or the perfect price point, perfect package, anything like that. It is about communication. It is about confidence, and it is about connection. And when you show up with genuine curiosity, can I help this person? What can I help this person with? Let me find out. And you're ready to listen, and you're ready to serve, you're ready to support them. Honestly, the right clients are going to notice. So your homework for today is super simple. Talk to people. Talk to one people. Talk to two people. Actually talk to them. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And the easier it gets, the more confident you feel. And the more confident you feel, the faster your business grows. And that is the honest to God's truth. If you are ready to get out there and start building those connections, I would love to help you do it. It's the only reason I'm here at all, is to help you become a ridiculously good virtual assistant, isn't it? And you know what? I have a lot of conversations on a daily basis. You can learn more about how we can work together at yourvamentor.com/links. All of my programs and services are there, and all my social connections too. If we are not connected yet, please reach out and connect. Until next time, keep showing up, keep talking to people, and keep moving forward, one confident conversation at a time. That's all I've got for you this week. I'll see you next time.